Imagine a world where time has stood still. A world with no internet, no skyscrapers, and no cars. A place that's completely untouched by modern civilization. Believe it or not, these places still exist, inhabited by communities so isolated, they've never had any contact with the outside world. These are the last uncontacted tribes on Earth, living reminders of humanity's distant past, thriving against all odds. Today, we're taking you on a journey deep into the world's most remote jungles, rivers, and islands to discover the lives of the world's most mysterious, uncontacted tribes. Who are they? Where do they live? And why, in the age of globalization, have they chosen a life in total isolation? Let's begin our adventure into the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. Our first stop takes us into the heart of the Amazon rainforest, a place so vast and so wild that, despite our modern maps and satellites, remains mostly unexplored. Deep within these impenetrable jungles, hidden from the outside world, live some of the most mysterious uncontacted tribes on Earth. These communities are untouched by modern civilization and live as our ancestors did thousands of years ago. Take, for example, the isolated tribes of Brazil and Peru. Brazil alone is home to an estimated 100 uncontacted tribes. The Brazilian government, aware of their presence, has taken extreme measures to ensure they're left undisturbed, creating no-contact zones within the Amazon. In the 1980s, Brazil founded FUNAI, the National Indian Foundation, to protect these tribes, safeguarding their lands and allowing them to live in peace. One of these tribes is known as the Flycheros, or the Arrow people. They reside in an extremely remote part of the Amazon, and their lives are filled with rituals, hunting, and a deep connection with the forest. They've earned their name for their expertise in archery. To them, the jungle is not just their home, it's their entire world. The Arrow people are just one example of these hidden societies. Their entire way of life depends on the natural world around them. They fish from the rivers, hunt for game in the forest, and gather plants for food and medicine. But their world is more fragile than it appears. Encroaching deforestation, illegal mining, and land disputes pose a constant threat to their survival. But the Amazon isn't the only place where these ancient societies exist. To truly understand the lives of uncontacted tribes, we need to travel across continents and oceans. Our next stop is Papua New Guinea, a country known for its dense forests, towering mountains, and incredible biodiversity. It's also one of the world's least explored regions, home to several uncontacted tribes who have thrived there for centuries. Papua New Guinea's tribes live a life that revolves around hunting, fishing, and deep-rooted cultural traditions. One of the most mysterious uncontacted groups in the area is thought to live in the Foja Mountains, a place so remote it's been called a lost world. The people of these mountains are believed to have little to no contact with anyone outside their region. Their culture is incredibly rich, passed down through songs, stories, and traditional rituals. What makes their isolation even more remarkable is that Papua New Guinea is home to over 800 distinct languages. Each of these tribes has a unique language and culture, making it one of the most linguistically diverse places on Earth. Imagine living in a place where every tribe speaks a different language and has its own customs. For the people of these tribes, their languages are sacred, often tied to their identity, their ancestors, and their sense of belonging. But perhaps one of the most famous uncontacted tribes in the world lives on a tiny island in the Indian Ocean, North Sentinel Island. This island is part of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, but it's the sentinelese tribe that makes it truly extraordinary. They're one of the last groups on Earth that remain completely uncontacted, and they've made it clear they want nothing to do with the outside world. The sentinelese have lived on North Sentinel Island for thousands of years, and they fiercely protect their territory. Any attempt by outsiders to approach is met with hostility, as the tribe defends their island with bows, arrows, and spears. The Indian government has declared North Sentinel Island off-limits to everyone, including tourists and researchers, to preserve the sentinelese way of life. Even fishermen are warned to stay far away. This policy is in place not only to respect their wishes, but also because these tribes have no immunity to modern diseases. Contact with outsiders could be devastating for them, as their immune systems are not equipped to handle illnesses that are common in our world. The few glimpses we have of the sentinelese, captured from a distance, reveal a people who rely on hunting, gathering, and fishing. They use primitive tools and live a simple, self-sufficient life. But their way of life, like many other uncontacted tribes, is under threat from climate change, rising sea levels, and the curiosity of the outside world. As we've seen, uncontacted tribes aren't just mysterious, they're incredibly resilient. They've survived in environments that would challenge even the most skilled survivalists. These people have adapted to some of the harshest and most isolated places on Earth, living without any modern conveniences. But while their isolation has kept their cultures intact, it also places them in constant danger. So, why did these tribes choose to live in isolation? Many anthropologists believe that it's not just a choice, but a necessity. These communities have lived in isolation for centuries, and they've seen outsiders as a threat. History has shown them that contact often brings violence, disease, and exploitation. As technology advances, and as humanity continues to spread to the furthest reaches of the planet, these tribes may one day face an impossible choice: continue their way of life or adapt to survive. But right now, their choice is clear. They want to be left alone and talk. For us, these uncontacted tribes serve as a reminder of the world's diversity. They show us that there are still cultures living in harmony with nature, untouched by modern life. And as much as we might want to learn about them, our curiosity shouldn't come at the cost of their way of life. So what can we do to protect these communities? Respecting their isolation is the first step. Governments and organizations worldwide are implementing policies to preserve their lands and ensure they remain undisturbed. But it's also up to us to understand the importance of these cultures. In a world where technology and culture are constantly changing, they represent something timeless, a connection to our past. They are the guardians of ancient traditions, the protectors of untouched lands, and living connections to humanity's origins. They've chosen a life in harmony with nature, and we should honor that choice. The last uncontacted tribes on Earth stand as living reminders that there's still mystery in this world, a mystery that deserves respect and protection. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. If this story inspired you, or if it made you think differently about the diversity of human life on this planet, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Let's spread awareness and respect for the last uncontacted tribes on Earth.